Hello Astrobro subscribers, and welcome back to another video in the Planetary Lords or Vedic Lords series in our discussion of both Western and Vedic astrology. So the Vedic Lord system, for those who might not know, is a system of astrological thinking that allows you to see where the fruits of a particular house or sign are coming from. So if you know the different house placements, which you should know if you're going to watch this video. If you don't know them, check out my astrological ascendant series, and in that I talk about all the different houses, of which the ascendant is the first house. But if you do know the different houses, you will know that, for instance, the second house is money, the seventh house is relationships, the eighth house is, sudden, unexpected, dangerous things and mysteries. The third house is speech, etc. And if you look at the dispositor of that placement, so say your third house is Leo, if you're a Gemini ascendant, your third lord is going to be the sun, and if your sun is in the seventh house, that means you would have third lord in the seventh house. And that means that all of your speech, the fruits of your speech, where your speech is drawing from and where it comes up in your life, is going to be manifested in the seventh house of Sagittarius for that ascendant. So today we're going to be doing third lord through houses, and the third house is your speech, and it's your communication, and it's your friends, and it's your siblings and cousins, and short distance travel and sales, and anything dealing with the prefix com, so communicate, commerce, commercial, etc. So wherever your third lord is placed, that is going to be where your third house, your speech, gets its power from. You could think of the speech as the light bulb and the third lord house as the battery powering the light bulb. So the quality of the light is going to be very much dependent on the quality of the power source. So anyway, moving forward. Third lord in the first house. Third lord in the first house people are natural self-starters. They're entrepreneurs. They constantly have a stream of new ideas coming in off the top of their head, because the first house is the top of the head. The third lord in the first house people have a very fiery, crackly style of communication that is very entrepreneurial, very idealistic. They know what they say. What they say comes out of their bones, comes out of their body, comes out of their core of who they are. So this is a very favorable position for the third lord. Third lord and the second house people, they focus a lot on the tone of voice. They have a sort of unconscious rambling style of speaking, because the second is obviously 12th from the third. The second house is 12th from the third house. So if the third lord is 12th from itself, so let's use the example of a Cancer ascendant, and with Mercury and Leo. So the Cancer ascendant's third house is going to be Virgo in almost every circumstance, and the second house is going to be Sun or Leo. And if Mercury, which rules the sign of Virgo, which is the third house for the Cancer ascendant, is in the sign of Leo in the second house, that means that this person is going to have this placement. And they have, like I said, a very the tone of their voice is very important in the way they communicate. They have sort of a mouthy, very fluent style of communication that comes out of their unconscious mind. So they'll speak from the heart, and they have a hard time lying, because what they say is basically coming out of the core of their unconscious. And these people are very focused on material things, and they use the tone of voice to persuade people to get the things that they want or need in their life. Third lord and the third house people, this is very similar to third lord in the first house. These people are they're sort of chill in their communication, because when a planet comes into its own sign or its own house or has its own lord ruling it, it doesn't amplify the planet. It amplifies it by calming it down and making it seem confident. These people are very logical. They're very coherent in their speaking pattern, and they have a lot of the third lord in the first house qualities of like entrepreneurship and intellect, but they're more philosophically oriented and less results oriented than the third lord and the first house people. Third Lord in the fourth house, these people's communication comes straight out of their reaction to the environment, which is basically the moon. So it comes straight out of their emotions. These people are feelings oriented in their speech. They say what they feel, they say what they mean, and what they think sort of comes to them in emotional bursts. And sometimes they can have a hard time translating their speech into English, because it comes to them in the form of what they want to say, comes to them in the form of emotions, and they have to translate that to words, which some things can get lost in translation. These people basically have such a deep style of communication that it makes it very hard to actually communicate, because they can't find the words to say to express how they feel often. Third Lord and the fifth house people are very creative, they're very artistic, and the things that they make with their hands tend to be sort of these beautiful and spherical objects. They can create like mandalas and equations that sort of if they're into math and science, they can have, or intellectual stuff, they can sort of create these like giant circular equations that are really, really interesting. These people are also very good at politics, and they like to be the center of attention, and the things that they say can often make them very popular with other people because they can orient everybody around them very easily. These people are natural leaders, and they're natural creatives. Third Lord and the sixth house people become very critical of their self and their speech and what they say and why they say what they say. And they can sort of get trapped in a cycle of internal debate. And this is actually a good thing, because even though it can be uncomfortable, because it makes them very sure of what they say. It makes them very logical. It makes them very coherent in their speech, and it makes them like very effective. Once they finally figure out what they're trying to say, it makes them very effective at saying it. They're very hard to argue with because they're arguing with themselves all the time. Third Lord in the seventh house people are natural deal makers. They're natural at fixing other people's relationships. They're natural at making their own relationships. They're constantly going out and meeting people. These people are the best merchants. These people are the best one-to-one salespeople. If they work in telecommunications, insurance sales, anything like that, selling their own products even. Alternatively, they could be in fashion, because Venus which rules the seventh house, represents fashion. These people could be in aesthetics, that kind of thing. But generally, they're very, very good at convincing other people to buy something or to value something, or solving problems, basically. Third Lord in the eighth house people, this is a very good placement. It has similar qualities to third Lord in the sixth house. These people are very deep thinkers. They're very deep communicators. They like talking about things that are outside of the public sphere, things like conspiracies, things like occult stuff, things like hidden science, that kind of thing. And they're very, very... They like going sort of beyond what most people are capable of thinking. They like knowing the information that is a secret that other people don't necessarily know. And they have trouble communicating with people who aren't like that, because they have so many deep and diverse interests that other people might get uncomfortable or turned off by it. Third Lord in the ninth house, these people are, the best way to describe it is preachy. They want to communicate an ideal vision of the world. They want to communicate an ideal version of society. They're basically very intelligent, but their intelligence comes in the form of like an ideology. So, for instance, if this is Mars, third Lord in the ninth house, and the third Lord is Mars, as it would be in an Aquarius ascendant or that kind of thing, or the other one be Virgo ascendant. These people are going to be very, very aggressive in their ideological like pushing. They're going to be very sharp. And if this is Sun, it's going to take on a more political voice. If it's Venus, they're going to be fighting for a cause very persuasively and sort of underhandedly, try to get other people to see their point of view in a very charming way. So yeah, these people are basically, they exist to push a message. Third Lord in the 10th house. These people are, they have a similar quality to the third Lord in the second, in that they speak very much in their tone of voice. Their tone of voice is very important. And they also have qualities of third Lord in the 6th house, because they are constantly involved in an internal struggle, but instead of struggling to be right or logical, these people are involved in the internal struggle of getting people to listen to them, of being a voice of authority. And they're concerned with, like, am I going to be respected if I say this? Whereas the third lord and the sixth house person is more like, am I going to be right if I say this? Like, logically consistent and coherent and true. Whereas these people, the truth for them is other people hearing them. So they can get into trouble with that because they can be populistic. But generally speaking, if they're pushing a good cause, they make very good leaders. Third lord in the 11th house. These people are, the best way to describe it is zany. They're interested in changing society, changing the world. They're interested in technology, tool use, and their financial gains come through making, not through working more hours, but through making the hours that they do work more effective. And that could be said for anybody, it's true, but these people have a special knack for using technology, using information and tools to lever their situations to gain the things that they want to gain in their life. And finally, third lord in the 12th house, these people are sort of quiet, and they have similar qualities of third lord in the 6th house in that they're in a constant internal argument. But the internal argument is like constantly pondering what if. And these people can gain information that is very much outside of the normal sphere of information. And in the same way, it's similar to third lord in the 8th house, because they gain information that is so far outside of the Overton window of the particular society that they're living in that it becomes strange. These people also enjoy studying and communicating with foreign people or people who have very radically different ideas than their own. They're very open-minded, and they may need to learn to be more critical so as to not get drowned in an ocean of complexity and novelty. So yeah, that was my analysis of third lord through houses, through all the different speaking patterns that you can see in astrological thought. And, if you understand the dispositors and the house system, then feel free to run your own chart, see where your third lord is placed, and let me know in the comments if it's accurate or if this helped you in any way or helped you understand somebody that you know, somebody that you care about, somebody that you wish that you understood better. You can't understand why they think or speak the way they think or speak. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you think, and I'll be making fourth lord through houses soon. Till then.